A chamber in the heart with thick muscular hose that pumps blood through the aorta is, okay, so what do we call a chamber that pumps blood through the aorta? So the chamber that pumps blood through the aorta is left ventricle. Left ventricle. A blood vessel that takes blood to the kidney. A blood vessel that takes blood to the kidney is renal artery. Renal artery. So the correct answer is B. The specialized conducting tissue in the heart, also known as the pacemaker of the heart. The specialized conducting tissue in the heart, also known as the pacemaker of the heart, is sinoatrial node. Sinoatrial node. Okay. The fluid part of blood is called A. Plasma, B. Tissue fluid, C. Lymph, D. Blood. The correct answer is A. Plasma. Part of the biosphere which consists of soil and rocks is called the Parts of the biosphere which consist of soil and rock is called the A. Geosphere, B. Lithosphere, C. Terreosphere, D. Hydrosphere. The correct answer is B. Lithosphere. A general group of plants adapted to grow in extreme dry regions are referred to as a general group of plants adapted to grow in extremely dry regions are referred to as A. Hydrophytes, B. Mesophytes, C. Exophytes, D. Desert plants. A. Hydrophytes, B. Mesophytes, C. Exophytes, D. Desert plants. The correct answer is C. Exophytes. Study the list below and answer the question that follows. 1. Hot summers with high rainfall, cold winters with heavy frost. 2. Big 5. 3. Sandy soil lacking nutrients. 4. Plants are mostly grasses and small shrubs. The actual question is, which of the above statements apply to the savanna biome? Which of the above statements apply to the savanna biome? So the correct answer is B. 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Big 5 and sandy soil lacking nutrients. What would you advise a farmer looking for a location to plant crops that require large amount of sunlight, nutrient-rich soil, and good drainage? What would you advise a farmer looking for a location to plant crops that require large amounts of sunlight, nutrient-rich soil, and good drainage? A. Plant on a north-facing slope in soil consisting mainly of loam. B. Plant on a north-facing slope in sandy soil. C. Plant on south-facing slope in soil consisting mainly of loam. D. Plant on south-facing slope in soil with good clay content. The correct answer is A. Plant on north-facing slope in soil mainly of loam. Scientists have suggested that trees in the Amazon jungle generate their own clouds and rain. This most likely caused by A. precipitation, B. evaporation, C. condensation, D. transpiration. The correct answer is D. It is caused by transpiration. Which of these does not represent the importance of wetlands? Which of these does not represent the importance of wetlands? A wide range of coastal habitats like lagoons and estuaries. B. Provide regular water supply and help reduce the effect of droughts. C. Low biodiversity. D. High water table and soil with high water holding abilities. The correct answer is C. Low biodiversity. Low biodiversity. We come to question 1.2, and the instructions for this question are as follows. Give the correct biological term for each of the following descriptions. Write only the term next to the question number 1.2.1 to 1.2.8 in the answer book. So during the exams, you'll be provided with the answer book, like I said earlier on. But for the sake of revision, please, I'll be writing answers in the same question paper. Okay, but that's what you are not supposed to do in an exam. In an exam, make sure you record your answers in the answer book. We go to question 1.21, which is a blood circulation system where blood stays within the blood vessels. A blood circulatory system where blood stays within the blood vessel that is closed. That is closed. Okay, that's the correct answer, closed. We come to 1.2.2, blood vessel made up of a single layer of epithelium. Blood vessel made up of a single layer of epithelium is capillaries. That is capillaries. We come to question 1.2.3. A phase in the cardiac cycle when the whole heart relaxes. A phase in the cardiac cycle when the whole heart relaxes. That is genodiastole. That is genodiastole. Okay, that is genodiastole. Okay, question 1.2.4 is the measure of how acidic or alkaline a substance is called pH. Is called pH. The measurement of how acidic or alkaline a substance is called pH. Next question is animals where body temperature depends on an environmental temperature. Animals where body temperature depends on the environmental temperature. These animals are called ectothermic. Ectothermic. They are called ectothermic. Question 1.2.6 is as follows. The term for when an organism becomes inactive during winter. The term for when an organism becomes inactive during winter. So when the term used to describe when an organism becomes inactive during winter is called hibernate. 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 Okay. We come to the next question. Feeding levels of different organisms within an ecosystem. Feeding levels of different organisms within an ecosystem. That is trophic levels. Trophic levels. Okay. We come to 1.2.8. The form in which nitrogen is absorbed by plants through their roots. The form in which nitrogen is absorbed by plants through their root is nitrate, or you can write it a formula NO2. NO2. Okay, so nitrogen is taken by plants as nitrate. So the plant takes in nitrate and then extract nitrogen from nitrate. We come to question 1.3. The instruction for this question are as follows. The instructions for this question are as follows. Indicate whether each of the statements in column 1 applies to A only, B only, both A and B, or none of the terms in column 2. Write A only, B only, both A and B, or none next to the question number, that is 1.31 to 1.33 in the answer book. Okay, so I'm not going to do much on that. So now we can see there the weight column 1 and column 2. So we come to question 1.3.1. A blood vessel that carries oxygenated blood. A blood vessel that carries oxygenated blood. A. Pulmonary artery. B. Superior vena cava. The correct answer is none. None of these arteries, none of these blood vessels, carries oxygenated blood. So the answer there is none. We come to 1.3.2. An biotic factor relating to soil. An biotic factor relating to soil. A. Physiographic. B. Edaphic. So the correct answer is B only. B only. Edaphic. Okay, we come to 1.3.3. So we come to 1.3.3. 1.3.3. Organisms that cannot produce their own food. Organisms that cannot produce their own food. Heterotrophic decomposers. A. Heterotrophic. B. Decomposers. The correct answer is both A and B. Both A and B. The diagram below shows the structure of the human heart. The structure of the human heart. So we can take time and study the diagram more specifically. Pay attention to these parts labeled by letters. We have got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are the letters that are in this diagram. So once we have studied the diagram, then we can go to the actual question, which is identify parts A, B, and G. Okay, so first we start with A. What is A? That is aorta. That is aorta. A is aorta. Okay. What is B? B, that is pulmonary artery. B is pulmonary artery. Okay. We come to G. What is G? So we can see G where it is, it's here. Now the space is too small for the answers, so I'm going to put the answers here. So that is semilunar valve or pulmonary semilunar valve. So that means if you write semilunar valve and someone else write pulmonary semilunar valve, both of you have got the answer correct. You have got your answers correct. We come to question 1.42. Give the letter only of the parts that prevent the backflow of blood into the atria. The backflow of blood into the atria. So the ones that stops the blood from going back into the atria, that is, those are valves. So we have got where are the valves? We have got C here stands for the valve, so we write C, and we have got F here, so we are going to write C and F. These are the two valves that prevent the backflow of blood. So C and F, that is the correct answer for 1.4.2. Okay, we come to 1.43. Name the part that brings blood from the lower half of the body back to the heart. Name the part that brings blood from the lower half of the body back to the heart. The correct answer here is inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava. That's the correct answer. We come to question 1.4.4. Give the letter and name of the part that prevents oxygenated blood and disoxygenated blood from mixing. Okay, give the letter and name of the part that prevent oxygenated and disoxygenated blood from mixing. The correct answer is D, and it's called septum. The correct answer is D, and this part D is called septum. Okay, so question 1.5 is the table below shows the different amount of carbon dioxide entering the atmosphere. As you can see, that is entering the atmosphere and being removed from the atmosphere, and this is being removed from the atmosphere. The numbers represent billions of tons of carbon dioxide per year. So this is atmosphere. Okay, so now we have got the vegetation, we have got the bin here. I can see this is must be a bin where wastes are thrown, and we've got the flame here, we have got the sign of the filling station here, and we have got our oceans here, which is hydrosphere. Okay, and this is the lithosphere. Okay, so now when we look at these, we should all understand that the trees are removing carbon dioxide double than it's putting in. It's adding to the atmosphere. The beans are not even removing, they are just adding to the atmosphere, the amount of carbon dioxide. Same applies with the flame and these, which comes from these fuel products like petrol, diesel. Okay, these when you burn them, they are just adding carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. The hydrosphere is taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and also adding carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, but with equal amount. The amount it's taking, it's removing from the atmosphere, that's the same amount is also putting in the atmosphere. As you can see, 90-90. Okay, so now let's come to the actual questions. Okay, identify the source of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere represented by A here. This is, now we can see these are the wastes being thrown. What happens to the waste when they are thrown? They start rotting or decaying. So you can talk of, this is A is decomposition. Okay, decomposition. Okay, what is happening here? What is happening? It is here is a flame. What that means, something is burning. We can talk of B, that is combustion. That is combustion. B is combustion. C, we can see this is also combustion of fossil fuel. Fossil fuel. Combustion of fossil fuel. So here it's combustion and here it's combustion, but here it's decomposition. So the combustion here produces carbon monoxide, which becomes carbon dioxide and goes into the atmosphere, as well as here carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. Okay, so we come to question 1.52. Vegetation contributes 60 billion tons of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere annually. Which biological process is responsible for this? Okay, so this is cellular respiration. You and me, we should know that at night, mostly plants respire as well. So they also take in oxygen and produce carbon dioxide at night, although not at higher rate compared to what happens during photosynthesis during the day. Okay, so the correct answer is cellular respiration. We come to 1.5.3. According to the table, what is the net amount of carbon dioxide that enters the atmosphere each year? Okay, the net. So when you talk about the net is the difference of the negative and the positive, something like that. Okay, so when it comes like what is the net is something like when you put all the incomes and then you also remove the deductions, what is going out, and then what you remain with is a net. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll be getting first let's take what is gotten. So as you can see, what is added into the atmosphere. As you can see, there is a lot of addition into the atmosphere. So let's start with addition. I presume what is going into the atmosphere is what we want to know. So we'll start with what is going into the atmosphere. So when you look at the plant, we have got the plant is adding 60 billion tons of carbon dioxide. So I'll write 60 there. Then plus what is the this beans adding, is also adding 60, so plus 60. Then here it is also adding 1.1, so I'm going to write plus 1.1. Then here it is adding 8.4, I'm going to write 8.4 there. And then the hydrosphere is also adding 90, so I'm going to write plus 90 there. Okay, these, as you can see, I've put them in brackets. This is what is being added into the atmosphere. Okay, now let's see what is being taken out of the atmosphere. The carbon dioxide taken out of the atmosphere, I'm going to put that in red. So as you can see, under plants we have got 120 billion tons, so I'm going to write 100. I'll say minus open bracket 120. Then we look, is there anything else that is taken? You can see that from the bean up to here, it is just, we are just seeing adding into the atmosphere. These activities, they don't take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come here under hydrosphere. We can see that 90 billion tons is also taken out of the atmosphere. So I'm going to say plus 90. Okay, so now when you add 60 plus 60 plus 1.1 plus 8.4 plus 90, when you add this, it's going to give us 219.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide. Then when we add 120 plus 90 will give us 210 billion tons of carbon dioxide. Then when we find the difference, 219.5 minus 210, it will give us 9.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide. So 9.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide is what is the net of carbon dioxide that goes into the atmosphere. Okay, so the bad part of it is that this 9.5, if it's brought into actual scenario, this is the carbon dioxide that is added into the atmosphere per year. Okay, there is nothing that is removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, so this will keep on accumulating. That's why it is also invoking global warming. So the correct answer is 9.5 billion is the correct answer, and this is how you do the calculation, just like I've demonstrated. We come to question 1.5.4. Name the worldwide phenomenon of increasing temperature that is being caused by excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So I said already the answer is global warming. The correct answer is global warming. Okay. Question 2.1 is as follows. The diagram below shows aortic pressure during the cardiac cycle. Normal blood pressure is said to be 120/80, which is systolic pressure over diastolic pressure. The systolic pressure is the highest pressure that the blood in the aorta reaches, while the diastolic pressure is the lower pressure that the blood in aorta drops to. Okay, so we go to the actual questions, but what we need to do first is study the diagram. After we study the diagram, then we go to question 2.1.1. Using the information in the diagram above, work out the person's blood pressure. Okay, so what we need to do is first we need to take note of the systolic pressure, so that is the highest blood pressure when the heart pumps. So when you look at that, we are going to come here and look at this, and this is the high blood pressure, which is 160. Okay, then when you come down here, we are going to look at this. This is 90. When we draw this line as I have drawn, you see that it will reach up to 90. This is a straight line, which is just taking us to 90. Okay, so that means the systolic pressure is 160. So we are going to write 160 there, over diastolic pressure, which is 90, which we're going to write down here 90. Okay, and then we write the units for blood pressure. Okay, so basically that is the blood pressure for this person. Okay, now we come to question 2.1.2. Would you say that this person has low, normal, or high blood pressure? Would you say that this person has low, normal, or high blood pressure? So we are told that the normal blood pressure is 120/80. Sorry. So now we can see that it is 160, and the diastolic is 90, which is also higher than 80. So this person has higher blood pressure. He has higher blood pressure. Okay, we come to question number 2.1.3. Describe what causes stroke. Okay, so when a person has got stroke, one, it might be when the blood vessel bursts. Okay, it might be that the blood vessel has what? Busted. So when the blood vessel busted, it might cause stroke. Okay, and this burst may happen in the brain, and then it causes the brain not to function properly and causes stroke. Two, when the blood clot is formed. So if there is blood clot in the brain, then it may cause stroke. Three, shortage of oxygen to the brain. So if someone has got not enough oxygen going into his body or her body, he might suffer from stroke. Okay, so shortage of oxygen to the brain may cause stroke. Okay, we come to 2.1.4. Name two risk factors for having a stroke. Name two risk factors for having stroke. Number one, diabetes. If a person has got diabetes, is likely to suffer from stroke. Number two, advanced age. If a person has grown old, if he has grown older, is very old, he might suffer from stroke. Three, high blood pressure. If a person has got high blood pressure, may suffer from stroke. Four, high cholesterol. If a person has got high cholesterol in his or her blood, then he will suffer from stroke. He is likely to suffer from stroke. It's not definitely, it's not a sure thing, but if a person has got high cholesterol, that means the chances of suffering from stroke is also high. They are also high. Their chances of suffering from stroke, they are also high. Okay, so basically these are the possible answers. So you can pick two from these and write them there. Okay. The map below shows one of South Africa's biomes and an image of a Karoo dwarf chameleon. Okay, the map below shows one of the South Africa's biome and an image of Karoo dwarf chameleon. Okay, so you can take time and study the map, as well as you can also take a look at the chameleon. Okay, now the question is, we go to question 2.21. Identify the biome on the map shown by the highlighted region A. Okay, so this is the highlighted A map. This is the highlighted area. So that A is Namakaloo. Okay. We come to question 2.2.2, which is describe the climate of this biome. Describe the climate of this biome. Okay, so 1, this climate is semi-desert with very little rain. 2, very hot summers. It has very hot summers. 3, it has cold winters. It has also cold winters. So when it's hot, it's very hot, and when it's cold, it's very cold. Okay, so it has got very hot and cold winters, as well as it is a semi-desert with very little rains. Okay, we come to 2.2.3. What genotype of vegetation might you expect to find in this biome? So what you expect, the kind of vegetation that is in this biome is small shrubs. You'll find small shrubs here. You are going to find small shrubs. You are also going to find grasses. You will also find grasses, and you only find the trees along the rivers. So trees are only along the rivers. Okay, we come to question 2.2.4. The question is as follows. Imagine you are a scientist working at a university close by this region. Someone brings you a Karoo dwarf chameleon, which they found it looks like it has not had food in a while and will need to be cared for before it can be released back into the wild. The Karoo dwarf chameleon is a small reptile, usually 8 to 15 centimeters in length. Like other chameleons, it can change color to camouflage itself. Explain how you would set up a terrarium, an enclosed grass container for keeping plants and or animals. Keep it alive for long enough to regain its health. Okay, so what you can do, 1, you make sure that you provide the chameleon with food. You give chameleon the food that it needs. So the kind of foods that you give to chameleon, like grasshopper, flies, those small insects. Okay, 2, provide a source of water. 3, keep it at high temperature. So you make sure that this temperature surrounding is high. There is good temperature. Remember, it's coming from an environment where there is high temperature and lower temperature in winters. Then the other one is to provide the chameleon with camouflage. So you provide the chameleon with camouflage by putting a plant where it is staying. Okay. Question 2.4 was as follows. Bob decided to see how light intensity affects flower buds opening in a particular species of plant known as wasonias. Okay. He built 4 outside enclosures for the wasonia The first one was covered with one layer of green shade cloth. The second one was covered with 2 layers. The third one with 3 layers, and the fourth one with 4 layers. Wasonia flowers in spring to early summer. So Bob did his experiment in October with flowers that he bought from the nursery. In each enclosure, Bob put 5 identical pots of Wasonia. Each pot had a single Wasonia plant, which was about 20 centimeters high, and had no open flowers. Each enclosure was placed on his lawn in full sun. At the end of each week, he counted the total number of flowers open in each enclosure and recorded his results. His results are shown in the table below. Okay, so let's go to the table below. This is the table. So the number of flower buds opening on Wasonia plants in 4 different enclosures over 4 weeks in October. So you can see enclosure number. So we have got 1, 25% shade, 2, 50% shade, 3, 75% shade, 4, 100% shade. Okay, so I've got week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So how do you read this table? Okay, how can you get the information from this table? So in week 1, a plant that was covered with 25% shade had 4 flowers. The one that was covered with 50% shade had 2, and the one which was covered with 75% had 0, and the one which was covered with 100% had 0. Okay, now when you come to week 2, you see that the one which with the 25% had 7 flowers, or 7 openings of the buds, and then this one had the one which had the 50% had 5, the one which had the 75 had 3, and the one which had the 400%, which is number 4, had 0. Okay, so you can see that this plant which had 100% shade, it only managed to have 3 buds opening. In week 4, only 3 opened, but in week 1, 2, 3, none of the buds opened. Okay, only 3 opened in here. As well as when you look at the one which had 70%, it had only 4 buds opening in week 3 and 7 in week 4. Then the one which had 50% had 9 buds which opened in week 2 and 15 in week 4. 9 in week 3 and 15 in week 4. So the one which had 25% had 17 buds opened and in week 3 and 29 in week 4. So that's what you need to also understand. Okay, once you have understood this, then we can go to the actual question. Okay, so the first question, which is 2.31. Okay, so the question is, what is the A dependent variable? What is A dependent variable? Okay, which has got 1 mark. So dependent variable, that is the number of Wasonia flowers that opened. That is dependent variable. The number of Wasonia flowers that opened. Okay, question 2.3.1 is as follows. Independent variable. What is the independent variable? Okay, so the independent variable is light intensity. Light intensity is the independent variable. Okay, we come to question 2.3.2. Okay, the question is, name one thing that Bob could do to ensure the validity of this experiment. One thing Bob can do to make sure to ensure that this experiment is valid. So one thing Bob can do is give the Wasonia the same amount of water. Okay, so he shouldn't deprive any plant with water. You should give the same amount of water to each plant. Okay, or you can also give the same type of soil, or plant the Wasonia plants in the same type of soil, and also you can also put the same amount of soil, and also count the birds at the same time of the day. Okay, here what I'm trying to say is he should count the number of birds. If he's counting in the morning, he should count all the birds, the opening birds in the morning. If he counts the number of birds for different plants in the morning, then he comes and count the other birds from other plants in the evening. That means there will be some changes that will take place. Other birds can open during the course of the day, so you just count all the opening birds at the same time of the day. Okay, we come to question 233. Okay, question 233 is as follows. How could Bob have set up a control for his experiment? How could Bob have set up a control for his experiment? So the answer for this one, how he could have set up the control experiment, he could have set up 5 more pots of Wasonia on the lawn with no shade cloth. Okay, so what he could do is the same number of the same plant, the same amount of soil, everything, and the water is watering the same, but this time he can put these plants at an open place where they are not covered, and those plants, they will act as control because they will have all the things, that all the factors that are needed for the plant. Okay, so you can plant them on the lawn, but without being covered, but having just an opening. Okay, and he does the same thing he's doing to those plants that are in shade. Okay, we come to question 2.34. Calculate the percentage increase in number of open flowers for enclosure 2 from week 2 to week 3. Okay, so basically what we can do is we can just even go back to the table. Okay, we can look at the table, the same table. Okay, so we are told we calculate the percentage increase in number of open flowers for enclosure 2. Okay, for week 2 to week 3. So we consider week 2 and week 3. Okay, so what we need to do is enclosure 2, which is 50% shade. So week 2 we have got 5, and week 3 we have got 9. So percentage increase, we can say 9 minus 5 over 5. Okay, 9 minus 5 over 5. Okay, so when we calculate 9 minus 5 will give us 4. 4 over 5 times 100%. Okay, so then when we say what number can go into 5 and 100, it will be 5 itself. So 5 down is cancelled out. 5 into 100, it will give us 20. Then we say 20 times 4. 20 times 4 will give us 80. So the percentage increase is 80%. From week 2 to week 3, there was an increase of 80%. Okay, so now we come to question number 2.5. What can Bob conclude from this result? What can Bob conclude from this result? So Bob can conclude that the lower the light intensity, the fewer flower buds will open. The lower the light intensity, the fewer flower buds will open. Or you can also say the higher the light intensity, the more flower buds will open. So both of these two answers are correct. So basically that's what you can conclude. Okay, so we come to question number 2.36. 2.36, which is draw a bar graph of week 4 of Bobby's results. Okay, week 4. So we go to week 4. So we can draw that. So what we need to do now is we go back to the table, which will help us to draw. So we concentrate on week 4 here, the one I've shown you here. So week 4, the first plant, which has 25%, has 29 flower buds open, and second one has had 15. Sorry, had 15. The second one had 15. The third one had 7, and the fourth one had 3. Okay. So now the actual question is we draw the graph. Okay. So what we can do here is the way I'm going to draw the graph. So for first one, I'm going to draw the bar graph here, which will reach up to 29. So I'll put 30 here. Okay, so I'll write these lines in the interval 5, 5. Then I'm going to put this bar close to 30. That is 29. So I'll write it like that. Then this one, the second enclosure was 15. So I'm going to draw the bar chart here on here. Okay, so as you can see, I'm also writing the percentage of the shade. So 25%, I've written 1, 25%, 2, 50% shade, and 3, which is 75% shade, which is 7. I'm going to write it somewhere here. Okay, since it has only 7, and then I'm going to write 75% shade. Then 4, which has got 23. Which has 100% shade, it had only 3, so I'm going to draw the bar graph like this. Okay, which is 3 there. Okay, less than 5. As you can see, it is close to half, but it's a bit higher than half. So that is how the chart should be. Okay, so here I'm talking about the enclosure number, and on these sides I'm talking about the number of flower buds open. Okay, so basically this is how you can come up with a graph. Okay, if you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section, but basically this is how you answer this question. Okay. Okay, question 2.4 was as follows. The diagram below shows a food web. The diagram below shows a food web. Okay, so we have got lion, we have got springbok, we have got hyena, we have got zebra, and we have got grassy. Okay, we have got grassy. So after we have studied the diagram, you take note of the diagram. You can see the zebra being eaten by the lion, springbok being eaten by the lion, the zebra and the springbok are eating the grass, and hyena, springbok, and zebra are also eaten by hyena. Okay, so now once you have studied this, we can now come to the actual question, which is question 2.4.1, which is as follows. Name the organism above that presents a producer. Name the organism above that represents a producer. So producer here is grass. The energy that the lion finds in springbok and zebra comes from the grass. After the zebra eats the grass, then it gets the energy, and the producer of energy is the grass. This one, it just makes its own food. Okay, so that is grass is the correct answer. Then B, prime consumer. So the prime consumer here is zebra or springbok. Okay, these are the prime consumer. They eat the producer. Okay, they eat the producer of the energy, which is grass. Okay, we come to question number 2.42. Question number 2.42. Explain what may happen if the hyena was removed from this ecosystem. Okay, explain what may happen if the hyena was removed from this ecosystem. Now, you animal should know that hyena is eating zebra and springbok, so that means it is eating the hyena and springbok, okay, which are primary consumers. Okay, so what will happen if these primary consumers are not eaten by the hyena? There is no hyena to eat them. What will happen to the zebra, to the springbok, and to the grass? Okay, so what would happen is there will be fewer predators. First of all, there is no animal that is eating the zebra and the springbok. That means there will be fewer predators. Okay, and then this is going also to lead to an increase in the lion population. Okay, so now there is no competition of eating animals, so that means there is a lot of animals for the lion. So the lion will eat a lot and have energy. Now when they have enough energy, that even the reproduction process will take place frequently. Okay, they will have more energy to reproduce, so there will be a lot of lion population. Okay, the other one is since there will be fewer predators, which could cause there to be more springbok and zebra. Now, here is this. When the hyena is eating the zebra and the springbok, that means the number is reducing double, because the lion is eating as well as the hyena is eating. Now, when the hyena stops eating, when the hyena moves from this ecosystem, that means that number which was eaten by hyena will survive. That means the number of springbok and zebra will increase. The number of springbok and zebra will increase. So that will be the answers for this question. Okay, so you write those three answers. Those are the things that will happen. Question 3. Okay, we come to question 3, which is question 3.1. So question 3.1 is as follows. The snow leopard is classified as follows: animals, chordata, mammalia, carnivora, and felidae, as well as Pathroeutia. Okay, Pathroeutia or Pathroacia. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is clear with you. For me, it is not very clear. Okay, so that is how the leopard is, snow leopard is classified. Okay, so we come to the actual questions. Let's go to the actual questions. So question 3.1.1, the question is, to which order and family does the snow leopard belong? To which order and family does the snow leopard belong? So the order where snow leopard belong is carnivora. The order is carnivora. Then the family is Felidae. Okay, Felidae. Okay, we come to question 3.12. Question 3.12. Okay, question 3.1.2. Okay, the question is, correct the errors in the snow leopard binomial, that is scientific name. Correct the errors in the snow leopard binomial scientific name. Okay, so the answer to this question is that is Pathroeutia or Pathroeutia, where you write it as small letter lowercase, and then you underline the entire name. You underline the entire name. Okay, now when you're underlining, you need to make sure that you underline them separately. Don't underline them as one. You underline Pathra alone and Asha alone. Okay, we come to question 3.1.3. How many kingdoms of living organisms are there? How many kingdoms of living organisms are there? There are 5 kingdoms. There are 5 kingdoms. Okay, we come to question 3.1.4. The snow leopard is eukaryotic. What does this mean? The snow leopard is eukaryotic. What does this mean? Okay, so when we say snow leopard is eukaryotic, we mean that it has cells it has cells with a true nucleus, DNA enclosed in a membrane organelles in the cytoplasm. It means that it has cells with a true nucleus, DNA enclosed in membrane organelles in the cytoplasm. Okay, so that is the answer for that question. Okay, please, if you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section. Otherwise, we go to question number 3.1.5. Suggest which mode of nutrition and method of reproduction is common in snow leopard. Suggest which mode of nutrition and method of reproduction is common in snow leopards. Okay, so the answer to this question, the mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. It is heterotrophic. Okay, the method of reproduction is sexual. The method of reproduction is sexual. Okay, the method of reproduction is sexual. Okay, we come to question number 3.1.6. 3.1.6. Okay, that question is as follows. Tiger, jaguar, lions, and leopards belong to the same genus as snow leopard. Name the type of two-step key that may be used to identify these cats. Okay, name the type of two-step key that may be used to identify these cats. Okay, so the answer here is 1, dichromacy key, biological key, and verbal key. Okay, so they said you name the type of two-step that may be used to identify these cats. So we have got 1, dichromacy key, biological key, and verbal key. Okay, so those are the keys that you can use to identify these cats. Okay, so basically these were the answers to the questions. If you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section. Otherwise, these were the answers for these questions. We go to question. Okay, question 3.2 was as follows. The table below shows a geological time scale. Okay, so you can look at this era, Cenozoic, Mesozoic, then you can also study the other parts of the table. So make sure you study the table properly. Once you have studied the table, now we can go to the actual questions. So question 3.2.1 is as follows. Scientists have discovered fossils of early humans in many locations in Africa. In which era and period would these fossils have been alive? Okay, so the era that is Cenozoic, that is the era, and period, this was Quaternary period. This is the period of Quaternary. Okay, we come to question 3.2.2. The question is, scientists have recently discovered an early mammal fossil called Megaconus, which has been nicknamed Jurassic squirrel. Scientists estimate that it was alive exactly in the middle of the Jurassic period. Work out how many million years ago that was. Okay, so million years ago. So what we're going to do is now we're going to write 190 plus 140 divided by 2. Okay, so here we want to find the average of 190 and 140. Okay, now once we've done this, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 190 plus 140, which will give us 330, then divide by 2. So when we divide 330 divided by 2 will give us 165 million years ago. This could have been 165 million years ago. Okay, so that is the answer, 165. Okay, we come to question number 3.2.3, which is as follows. 3.2.3 was about 343 million years ago, an event known as the Cambrian explosion occurred. What happened during this event? So, what happened during this event is there was a rapid increase in the number of species on Earth. There was a rapid increase in the number of species on Earth. This is what happened. Okay, we go to question number 3.2.4, sorry, 3.2.4. The question was as follows. The dinosaurs went extinct at the end of the Cretaceous period. Scientists have suggested that this may have been caused by a volcano eruption. Explain how the eruption could have caused this extinction. Okay, so if there was volcano eruption, how did it cause the extinction of dinosaurs? Okay, so the answer would be a large amount of dust and ash after an eruption could block out the sun rays. Okay, so that means the sun rays from the sun were blocked. Okay, now once they are blocked, this led to less photosynthesis. So when there is less photosynthesis, that means plants are not making enough food for themselves, so that those animals that feed on those, they also be starving. Okay, because plants are primary producers. Okay, then and therefore less oxygen. That means the amount of oxygen that was in the atmosphere was also less, which cannot support animals to the fullest. And food. Okay, so there was scarcity of food, like I said earlier on. Okay, it could also cause the cooling of the atmosphere. Okay, now since there is dust which is blocking sun rays, that means the heat from the sun won't even be reaching the earth. Okay, as it should be. There will be heat that will be reaching the earth, but the other heat will be trapped by the dust which is in the atmosphere, which leads to this the atmosphere to be cool. Okay, since the dinosaurs could not adapt, so these changes of weather or climate, which the dinosaurs couldn't have adapted, then since they failed to adapt, then they died. To the changing climate, they went extinct. So the dinosaurs failed to adapt to the new climate, so they died. So this could have been the reason why we can attribute the extinction of dinosaurs to volcano eruption, because of that scenario that could have happened. Okay, we go to question number 3.2.5. Question number 3.2.5 is as follows. At extinction events like the end of the dinosaurs, where dinosaurs, not dinosaurs. Okay, sorry, it's not clear. Dinosaurs were due to physical causes. Yet humans are now causing extinction of various species at a higher rate than at any time in the past. Name this current mass extinction event and state two ways in which human activities are threatening biodiversity. Okay, so we name, the question is, name this current mass extinction event and state two ways in which human activities are threatening biodiversity. Okay, so this is the sixth mass extinction. This is the sixth mass extinction. Okay, so threats to biodiversity is habitat destruction. Homes of different animals are being destroyed in the name of digging minerals, farming. Okay, planting of invasive alien species. Okay, so there are some species that are being brought in different areas from different areas that does not support the livelihood of animals in that area. The other one is pollution. Okay, pollution is also one way we are trying to destroy the environment. Over exploitation of resources, overuse of fertilizer and pesticides, and trading in endangered species. Okay, trading in endangered species, poaching and hunting. All these activities are leading to extinction or threatening of biodiversity. Okay, so basically those are the answers we are supposed to write. Question 4 was as follows. Give a detailed description of the process of how fossils form in sedimentary rocks and mention how the scientists could estimate the age of the fossil using relative dating. Also say how they might come to be discovered by scientists. Okay, so when you are answering this question, first the content, okay, this is the subject matter, will carry 17 marks. Then the synthesis, the building, how you write your essay, it will carry 3 marks. The construction of your writing will carry 3 marks. Together, this question has got 20 marks. So, things you need to take note of is no marks will be awarded for answers in the form of flow charts, tables, or diagrams. So, when you're giving the answer, when you're answering this question, never should you use flow charts or tables or diagrams. So they want you to construct words, sentences. You construct sentences and you write it in form of essay. Okay. So let's go to the equation again so that we definitely understand what we are required of. So the question is, give a detailed description of the process of how fossils form in sedimentary rocks and mention how the scientists could estimate the age of the fossil using relative dating. Also say how they might come to be discovered by scientists. Okay, so that is the question. So let's start with the fossil formation. How is fossil formed? Okay, so first I'm going to share with you points before I construct the essay. I'll share with you points. Okay, so let's start with fossils. The first one is the organism. The first point for fossil formation is the organism, which is animal or plant, dies and is rapidly covered in settlement, either on land or at the bottom of the lake or river or sea. Okay, so first thing, the organism, which can be an animal or plant, dies. So what happens before it gets rotten, before it is left on the open area? It rots, it is buried. Okay, it is buried, or yes, it is buried. Okay, that's the first point. The second one is the soft tissue decay due to bacteria or microorganism while the hard part of the body remain intact. Right? So that's what happens. So the soft tissues of that animal will rot, then the hard part remains. Okay? Then organic material is replaced by minerals. The organic material is replaced by minerals. Further layers of sediment cover the remains over many years, causing the layers to compact or compress. So that means now once it is buried, what will be happening is there will be other soil that will be coming on top until it is covered with a lot of soil, okay, or it is deep down, then it will be there. Now remember, only soft materials have rotten. The other materials, the hard ones, are there. Okay, the sediment solidifies to form sedimentary rock or shale or limestone or sandstone. Okay, so that is what happens. Those are the 4 points that we can consider under fossil formation. Okay, now once that has happened, the next thing that happens is now we come to the next point, which is how do scientists determine the relative dating? Okay, how do scientists be able to tell when the fossil was formed, or is the materials that was used for fossil, when was it buried, or when did it die? Okay, so one, under this section, the first point is scientists study the layer of the rock above and below fossil to compare it to other fossil or events, knowing that fossil found below are older, while fossil found above are younger. Okay, fossil found below are older, while those that are found above are younger. The other point is this is very method because it does not tell us the exact age of fossil. Okay, so scientists may also use index fossil to help date other fossil. Okay, so that is the other method that is being used. Okay, once I've done that, then we go to the second part. The third part, which is becoming discovered as the third part of this question. So what points are we going to raise here? So the point we are going to raise here is segmental rock are pushed to the surface by the movement of the earth or earthquakes over many centuries. Fossils become exposed due to erosion or human activities. So this is how they come to identify or discover the fossil. So it's either by the movement of the earth crust trying to push this upwards, or by human activities. Okay, so these can be different activities. Maybe someone is trying to dig something out and then he discovers there are those minerals, or there are those fossils. So basically those are the methods that these fossils are discovered. Okay, now we have raised points of these three stages. We have raised points on fossil formation. We have also raised points on relative dating, and we have also raised points on becoming discovered, how the fossil is discovered. So next we are going to construct an essay that we are going to present. Now remember, those points we raised are not supposed to be written so that examiners can see. These are points that you can write on a rough paper or somewhere else, which is not the answer sheet. It's not part. It can be maybe an unused answer sheet that you use to raise these points, and then you write them on a rough paper. Then later on, you construct an essay where the markers will come to mark. So how will the essay look like, or be? Okay, so let's start with the first part, which is fossil formation. So the essay will be like this. The organism, animals or plants, dies and is rapidly recovered in settlement either on land or on the bottom of the lake or river or sea. The soft tissues decay due to bacteria or microorganisms, while the hard part of the body remains intact. Organic material is replaced by minerals. Further layers of sediment cover the remains over many years, causing the layer to compact or complex. The sediment solidifies to form sedimentary rock or shale or limestone or sandstone. Okay, that is the first part of our essay, and that I have completed writing the essay, and they should be able to give you marks. We come to relative dating. So we come to the second part, which is relative dating. Using the points we raised, so our essay will be like this. Scientists study the layer of rock above and below fossil to compare it to other fossil or geological events, knowing that fossils found below are older while fossils found above are younger. This is very accurate method because it does not tell us the exact age of the fossil. Scientists may also use index fossil to help date other fossils. Okay, so basically that is the essay, the part of the essay on relative dating. Then we come to the last part, which is becoming discovered. How does fossil become discovered? Sedimentary rocks are pushed to the surface by the movement of the earth or earthquakes over many centuries. Fossils become exposed due to erosion or human activities. So basically, I've finished writing my essay, and this should also give me 20 marks. So as easy as that, you get your 20 marks in an exam. So if you have got questions, please, you can ask in the comment section. Otherwise, basically, that's how you answer this question. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, we offer subjects like mathematics, where we go through past papers for mathematics, and also we go through English papers, science papers. So anything that concerns your academic work is covered on our channel. So please, we'll be humbled, we'll be very pleased to see you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you found this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. Thank you so much. God bless you.